Hey, good afternoon, guys. I appreciate y'all's patience in my absence. And while I'm at this funeral today, I've got a real short lesson planned for you. So the purpose of this video is to go through a couple of examples and then to allow you the rest of the time in class to work on your Delta Math assignment. So we've talked before about our formulas for angle addition. And so I'm just going to remind you of what those formulas are. We've got sine of A plus B. You've got this in your notes as sine of A cosine of B plus sine of B cosine of A. I didn't mention this in class, but if you have a minus sign in between the two angles, you'll also have a minus sign over there for that formula. So for example, like when we see in this first problem here, simply just putting a minus sign in the middle will take care of that. Our second formula I'll remind you of is the cosine of A plus B, right? And that's going to be where it's cosine of A cosine of B, and then it's going to be a minus sign, sine of A sine of B. And if you start off with a minus sign in the middle, then it's going to be a plus sign, so those operators are different. Those are our two formulas that we've got. We've talked about them before, and so that should be nothing new for you guys. So let's get into this problem. First step that I would recommend doing is drawing out each of these angles. You see, they give us some information about angle A. They tell us that in this example, the cosine of angle A is 28 over 53. You'll remember from SOHCAHTOA, that for cosine, right here, that's adjacent over hypotenuse. So I knew that 28 was my adjacent side and 53 was my hypotenuse. Okay, so I've drawn that picture appropriately. Let me draw angle B now. So angle B, they tell me the sine. And I remember from sine that the fraction is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Right, so the opposite side here is going to be 60, and the hypotenuse is going to be 61. Now, in both of these cases, I really want to find this missing side, and we would use what we've learned about this year called the Pythagorean Theorem to do that. But I wanted to show you guys a nifty tool that I have come across. And it's a Pythagorean theorem calculator of sorts on the internet. If you just go to Google and you Google Pythagorean theorem solver, the first little option that comes up is this sort of widget right here that allows you to plug in the information that you know and to ask it to solve for the information that you don't know. So for in this case, like I think the first example, we're looking for the leg A and so what I want to do is I want to enter in that information. I've got this other leg, little b, is 28, and the hypotenuse is 53. So I'm just going to type in 28 as the base there, and 53 is the hypotenuse. And then it's going to show me what the other leg is, the other leg being 45. And that's just a real quick, easy way. Of course, we could do it with our formula, but I thought, well, since we've already been over that, we can go ahead and let that calculator kind of solve that out for us, where we've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then we're going to do the same thing down here with the second triangle, okay, where one of the legs is 60 and the hypotenuse is 61, okay? So one of the legs is 60 and the hypotenuse is 61, and it winds up being the other leg is 11. And that's really nice. It's a quick way for me to figure out what my two missing parts of this formula is going to be. Okay, so once you've got your picture set, this was angle B, by the way. Once you've got your picture set up, all it takes is matching, whether it's in blue or in red, matching the given formula to what they're asking you and then filling in those four parameters. Let's see if we can do that. So we've got the sine of A minus B, okay? So from my formula, I know that's going to be the sine of A and the cosine of B minus the sine of B and the cosine of A. And so of those four parameters, there's 4 parameters. With my pictures, I now know all four of those parameters. Let's pull it down here and look at our pictures. Think about, ask yourself the question, what is the sine of A? Sine of A would be opposite over hypotenuse. So that first parameter is going to be 45 over 53. Okay, so we can check that off our list. What is the cosine of B? I come down here, SOHCAHTOA, I think cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that's 11, whoops, pardon me, that's 11 over 61, Okay, so check that off our list. We got a minus sign from our formula. Then we want the sine of b. So I come over here down here to the angle b. Sine is opposite of our hypotenuse. That's going to be 60 over 61. And that's our third parameter. Fourth and final parameter here, cosine of a, that was actually given to us as 28 over 53. So 28 over 53. Okay. Now this is all we have to do is we just multiply, and this is why I've got my my calculator app pulled up here, right? So all we have to do is just multiply 45 times 11. 45 times 11. So that's gonna be 495 over whatever 53 times 61 is. Whoops. 53 times 61. That's 33. And then 60 times 28. 60 times 28. 1680. 1680. And then again, 61 times 53 we just did. That's 3233. And as I mentioned in class yesterday, if we've done our work correctly, the denominators will already be matched up. So all we have to do is just subtract. So we got 495 minus 1680, and we wind up with negative 1185. So negative 1185 over 3233. That's going to be my final answer. I do want to double check to make sure that fraction is simplified. My calculator can do a good job of that for me. So I'm going to say negative 1185 over 3233. And then I'm going to hit math, enter, enter. And actually that is simplified all the way. So I know that's going to be the answer that I need. And so we would just type that answer right up in here, and we'd hit submit, and that would be how that problem would work out. I want to look at a second one. I'll go through the second one a little bit at a more rapid click here, since we've already done one of those. The cosine formula here is going to be cosine of A, cosine of B. I'll use a minus sign because remember cosine, the operator is different. And then we got sine of A, sine of B. And of those four parameters, look at what we already know. We already know the sine of A, so I can put a check mark next to that one. I already know that one is going to be 35 over 37. I don't know sine of B yet. I don't know cosine of B, and I don't know cosine of A. So let's draw some pictures over to the side here. Okay, here's my angle A. There's angle A, and we're told that the sine of that angle, so the opposite over the hypotenuse, is 35 over 37. So let me go to my Pythagorean solver here. The hypotenuse is 37, and that leg is 35, so it looks like the other leg's going to be 12. That's kind of nice. So we'll put a 12 right there. And then for the angle B, okay, what do we know about angle B? We know the tangent. Now that's opposite, 28, over adjacent, 45. So I need to find the hypotenuse. So I'll have to fiddle with my, you'll see right here where it says solve for leg. I'm going to switch it to solve for the hypotenuse since I know both of the legs in this one. And what were those numbers again? 28 and 45. So 28 and 45. And the hypotenuse is 53. So the hypotenuse I'm going to write down is 53. And now I can successfully answer what are those other four parameters. Okay, so cosine of A, it's going to be 12 over 37. All right, so I got 12 over 37. Cosine of B, that's going to be 45 over 53. So 45 over 53. And then there's a minus sign, of course. And what do we have? Sine of B, so look down here at B, and that's 28 over 53. 28 over 53. And now I'm going to show you that shortcut on the calculator all in one sort of step, if you will. So bear with me here. I'm going to do a little bit of typing now. So I'm going to do 12 divided by 37 times 45 divided by 53, and then minus 35 divided by 37 times 28 divided by 53. Now my calculator has an option to turn that into a fraction in simplest form, and it's going to be negative 440 over 1961. So negative 440 over 1961. And if you're wondering, well, how did you get that behind the scenes? Just multiply top with top, bottom with bottom of each of these pairs of fractions, and then subtract the result like we did in the previous example, and you get negative 440 over 1961, which, if I go back to Delta Math, I think I still got this problem pulled up, should be where I can plug in that answer, and it'll show me the steps here. All right. Of course, Delta Math always takes daggum forever. Sorry for the wait here. Well, hopefully, oh, there we go. Perfect. So I was just about to give up on it. Negative 440 over 1961. So negative 440 over 1961. And we hit submit. And what I was going to say is, if you guys work these out and you get it wrong, please spend some time reading through these answers. Like they give the exact steps that you and I just went through. They talked about SOHCAHTOA, talked about setting up the triangle, finding the missing side using Pythagorean theorem right there. We kind of cheated and used a little calculator, and that's okay. And then look down here. Here are your 4 parameters, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the formula. And then we plug those 4 in. We combine those 2 fractions on each side, and we subtract. And we get our answer that way. Hope that makes sense. You guys are to work now on this assignment. And the way I've got it set up is where I believe, let's go to this. I think it's just 10 questions for you. I might be mistaken, but let me look. Angle, sum, and difference. Yeah, just 10 questions that you guys need to complete for me. And it is due on the 6th, which is tomorrow at 3 p.m. So we'll work on this today in class in my absence. And then I plan on answering some more questions tomorrow in class and having you guys wrap it up with me. So appreciate your hard work. And if you have any questions, let me know. And in the meantime, live Jesus in our hearts and forever. Thank you, fellas.